Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc. Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode. I am braving the winter weather here today. It's spring. You wouldn't know it to look out the window, but it's spring right now. We're getting a bit of a snowstorm. I'm on the highway. That's because for the past, it's been about 6 or 7 months, I want to say. I've been meaning to get out of town to go and meet up with one of our viewers, Cindy in Red Deer. So hello to Cindy, who had some things she wanted to sell me. And today's the day I'm going to go pick it up. So hopefully we'll find a few antiques, a few collectibles, and a few things along the way, and make it there and back safely. What I'm going to find, I don't know, but we're going to dig around, find a few treasures, and I'll show you what's in the trunk as soon as I get back to the house. Let's follow along on another episode and see what treasures I can dig out of someone's basement. Let's go. Okay, I am back at the house, made it home safe and sound. Now it's time to offload the vehicle and show you what treasures we were able to find over at Cindy's house. Let's have a look. All right. Well, I guess most of it's in the other side. I'm going to pile stuff up on that table I've so conveniently set up over there. Get it out of the vehicle. It's be a little bit easier to see. Boy, it must be early. Words are hard right now. I forgot that I had my winter hat in here, my Elmer Fudd hat. ABF, always be fuddin'. Okay, it wasn't a pile of stuff, but it was some interesting things that I ended up picking up, and I'm going to show you what I picked up and why. The first thing you'll probably recognize is this. It's a nice little wooden sewing basket. So when you open it up, you got your sewing notions and buttons and all that kind of stuff. But what's cool about these, and many of you probably have had a grandparent or might have one of these at home yourself, is that they open up so nicely. It's a great design to keep all your threads, and this one's fully stocked too. So it's got lots of thread and lots of accessories and things like that in here. Really neat piece. These always sell well. This one's in generally pretty good shape. It is missing one of these little wooden sort of hinges on there, and I was told it might be in the box. Anyway, I'll look for that later on. A neat item. And like I said, they always sell. Generally, they go for around $100 or so. Not the most amount of money in the whole world, but they are a very handy thing. In fact, it's such a handy thing, I'll probably ask my wife if she needs one before we end up selling it, because both my daughter and wife are really into sewing and knitting and stuff right now. So cool piece. Here we have your typical chrome, and actually it's likely nickel plated. A lot of people call them chrome plated ashtrays, but chrome plating wasn't really all that popular until the 1950s. Prior to that, it was nickel plating. So when you see the radiator on an old car from the 1920s or 30s, or anything that has a shiny finish, it was likely nickel plated. And in the chroming process, they will nickel plate something first, and then they put the chrome on top as sort of that extra layer. So this is likely a nickel plated piece. Decent shape all the way around. It's got sort of the marble looking glass base on it. The one thing that is missing though is it would have had an insert, like a little glass, probably like a brown glass or blue glass or something, like a little insert ashtray, so you could take that out and clean it. This is missing that, but still it has the handle for moving it around, so you can move it where you're sitting. And not that smoking paraphernalia like cigarette stuff isn't super popular, but people are smoking other things, and so ashtrays are making sort of a comeback and a bit of an easier sale now. A chrome ashtray like that probably sell for around $80 to $100, somewhere in that range. Next up, we have this handy dandy metal case, and I can tell from looking at this is going to be a compact, probably an Elna sewing machine. So to get access to this, you actually pull that lever down. Look, it got jostled a bit on the drive. Woo! There. And so these are these are actually a really good quality machine, Elna sewing machines. If you've ever used like a Singer featherweight, those are extremely popular. And kind of second in line would be like the Elnas, such as this. So made in Switzerland, a nice compact use. So if you are, some people do quilting parties, some people just don't want to have a giant sewing machine set up. If that's the case, a sewing machine like this will do the job. It's like the KitchenAid mixer of sewing machines, a good, reliable unit. A lot of the early ones are actually sort of this weird green color. This one's white. So this is probably a little newer, maybe from the 1960s or 70s. But still, nice piece, really well made and very durable sewing machine that can sell for, at auction we've gotten probably $150 to $200 Canadian on something like that, even being an older unit. The Singer featherweights can sell for $300, $400, or $500, so they're worth a bit more because it's a prettier looking unit, but this is just as good of a sewing machine, and it's nice that it's a smaller size. And then we've got this. Now normally a small metal suitcase isn't worth a whole lot, like maybe 25 bucks or something like that. They're decorative pieces, they're not, you know, nobody's gonna be putting this through the airport. Mind you, I did before. Something like this is likely from the teens or 20s. It is a fabulously old suitcase, but that's not what it is. It's actually a tool chest, which is why I picked this one up. It's more interesting than that. See how it's hinged on the top here? This was somebody's workstation. When you went to a job site, they would carry this with them, and all the tools they'd need, see, they still have the saw stuck in there. You would open this up, and your tools would be inside. So it's got some organizing trays and such, but you've got all the drill bits for a brace. It looks like there's a number of different sort of woodworking tools. That looks like, oh, that's off the saw. Didn't quite fit in this box with that on there, did it? Somebody probably jammed it in there and busted the handle off. Well, at least it's still there. But early tools can be quite collectible, especially when you find a nice original set like this. There's specialty sort of bits in here. Everything in here kind of tells me this is somebody's toolbox going way back. I don't think it was anything recent. Probably the most recent thing in there is that screwdriver, which ironically looks like the same type of screwdrivers they use in a Ferrari. But that's more of a punch. But the Ferrari screwdrivers have like a plastic see-through handle like that. Anyway, we've got some nice early wrenches. So a good collection of tools like that. Because it has the tools in it, and it is an early toolbox, instead of being worth about $25, a suitcase like this full of tools could go somewhere between $100 to $200, because you're not just buying it because it's a cool old case, you're buying it because it's got the tools inside of it. And, you know, let's say the tools are 10 bucks a piece, you know, and there's 15 or more tools, you know, it starts to add up, and then you got the case itself. So pretty cool thing. And to think that this was somebody's job, this was somebody's livelihood. They had to carry this with them every job site they went to. It tells a story, and that's super cool. And then we've got the box of goodies. Now, you might recognize that as being a Toby jug, and Lancaster, England, character wear. So we've got one Toby jug. There's another here, same company. And we've got this guy right there. I was saying it's kind of unusual to be drinking out of somebody's head, but that was the idea, that you drink right out of his pointed hat. Samson Smith, since 1846, old Staffordshire figure. Ye old Tobias. So if you want to have a pint and drink it out of the top of somebody's head, you could do it. We've got this now. You see these. I never know if I'm saying it right. Guillo or these balsa wood flying model kits, where you can actually make yourself a pretty cool airplane model out of wood. Normally the kits are quite small. In fact, only about that big, and you build a little airplane. This is the giant kit, and it has a wingspan of 31¼ inches. So this is a big set. And it looks like everything's there. The tissue for the wings, everything is there. And this would date back to the 1960s. And just a really cool piece, of course, you know, World War II. It's a Dauntless Navy dive bomber. Really interesting piece. So somebody might actually try and put that together, but more than anything, there's probably collectors out there who would want it for the box, the graphics. They probably collect airplane models like that. So not a terribly expensive thing, but still worth probably about $50 or so. And of course, it couldn't pass by a Dr. McCoy figure. Looks very little like him. Maybe they've got the pointy eyebrow. I think they've got his pointed eyebrow down. But yeah, reaction figures. It looks like it's Kenner. This is newer, so this is not that old at all. It's probably from the last, 10, 15 years or so. But still kind of neat. Somebody's going to think that's cool. This is where insert Dr. McCoy dialogue here. I'm a doctor, not an antique dealer. That was terrible. I take it back. I should never have done that. Jules Robin and Company Cognac. So nice early advertising ashtray for a cognac company. So probably would have got this when you bought your fancy bottle of cognac at the time. I would say from the style of this, it has that 1915 to 1920 sort of era, maybe a little earlier. Art Nouveau sort of an influence. It's a stamp piece and wouldn't have been an expensive thing at the time, but now there's people who, of course, collect things like that. And I have to find the person who will collect a thing like that. And that's the sort of thing that maybe if it's rare enough, it might be worth $30, $40 on its own, and only because it has advertising. If that stamp wasn't in there, that Jules Robin and Company Cognac advertising wasn't there, probably a $5 to $10 piece. So having some advertising on a piece can really, in this case, probably triple the value. We've got a nice little compass, it looks like. I'm going to open this up and have a look. Yeah, it just slides right out. It's got a compass on one side, a mirror on the other. So you can signal down airplanes. Help! Neat little thing. Nice metal case on it like that, made in Sweden. And it has the instruction booklet for it as well. Probably bring about $25 or so at auction. With signaling mirror, yep. That's a feature. We'll keep that together. Of course, I'm going to pull this out. I always get excited when I see old Hot Wheel cases, and this is one of the things that I was happy to see. Oh, look, Hot Wheels. And you can feel, oh, it's full. It's got stuff in it. Okay. So when I open it up, it was a little disappointing because the condition was not super great. A couple of them aren't too bad, but like this guy, this heavy hauler, he probably would have had a little tanker on the back. It's missing it. And the Volkswagen is cool. Paint's all chipped up. It's missing a wheel. Now, if you ever seen old Hot Wheels like this and it is missing a wheel, don't fret because those wheels actually plug and unplug. You can just easily just push another wheel on there. So a lot of times you find them missing a wheel like that and people think, it's done for, it's no good. Not the case. You can actually buy replacement wheels, even for this one that's missing half of the wheel. That's a later style hub. That was a paddy wagon toy. It's missing the roof and a bunch of stuff off it, but you can buy and push on a new wheel for that thing, no problem. So, oh, cool, look. When you find your car and it's a little bit bigger. That is a E-Type Jag, and not in the best of condition. But sometimes restoring these things can be a lot of fun. And I've done that on the channel a couple times. You go back in the channel and watch some of the older videos, you can see where I've done some little restorations on stuff. This is kind of a neat earlier case. It's the original, from the original release. Or actually that's about, yeah, I think that's the Sweet 16. So cool little Hot Wheel case. Again, it had a sticker on it. Might be able to get that sticker off the front of it without causing too much damage. So the case itself probably worth about $15 to $20. The car is not worth a whole lot because they're in tough shape, but still a fun thing to find in the basement of a house. And we've got, this was kind of an interesting thing, a genuine instant turn coating. So if you went to a football game in the 1970s, let's say, and you were a Montreal Alouettes fan, which is a CFL team, it's like NFL, but different. You could be, oh no, my team's losing, and flip it over and be like, no, I'm supporting the Edmonton team now. So they had it built in so you could show you could turncoat, I guess. So a turncoat tag. Interesting. Hadn't seen one before, but for somebody who collects either Alouettes or Edmonton Eskimos, stuff like that, that is kind of a neat thing to find. I also saw this when I was in the basement, and oddly enough, I don't know if I still have mine or not, but in the 1990s, you could mail away to Archie Comics, early 90s, and it was their 50th anniversary. You could get yourself an Archie Watch. So this is a limited edition Archie Andrews wristwatch. Oh, it's still ticking too. So it must have a newer battery in there, because I can't imagine it would still be lasting all that long. But kind of cool. Archie and his dilemma of which girl might he end up with. Such problems that Archie had. And of course, an antique sleigh bell. I thought this was cool because it reminded me of the sleigh bell from the Polar Express movie. If you guys ever saw that, it's the exact same looking sleigh bell, except this is the real deal. Pretty nifty. There's another sleigh bell in here too, a little fancier looking, but this I have a feeling might be like a replica sleigh bell, where that's the real deal. That's your utilitarian real deal. We have a Citroën. This is a DS, probably like a DS, I don't know, 19 or something like that. It's your typical Citroën. But look, I found the Jag earlier. There's a Citroën. Kind of a neat little thing. It's not the same as my car, but I knew what it was as soon as I saw it. It's a little plastic car with a tin plate body on it. Would have been a very inexpensive toy, but just weird that it's a French car like that. You got your classic bullet clip lighter. And these were really popular. This one's butane. So this one's maybe a little bit newer, but they made a lot of bullet lighters kind of like this after the Second World War. This one's a newer style where you click on that, I guess, and it would light it, but kind of neat either way. I always just like to find neat stuff, you know. It's a lighter, a 1950s sort of novelty looking lighter with the crest on it. Well, I better get this out of the box because it's going to tilt over. How fun is that? Isn't that just the cutest little wall clock ever? That was hanging on the wall behind a shelf, and I had a hard time getting to it, but I thought I'd best get over there and get to that, because that is just nothing says 1950s kitchen like this particular clock. West Clocks, it's electric. Actually, don't know if it even works. Cord looks all right. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna plug it in and see if it works. Let's see if it does anything. And look at that. See, that's when they built stuff to last. This thing's hanging on a wall unplugged for years. You plug it in and it instantly just starts working like a clock. What saying would I use? It's running like a Swiss watch, but it's not. It's an American electric clock. Anyway, it's super cool. This would definitely date to the 1950s, maybe even late 40s, like that 1949 to 55 kind of era, judging by the way it's designed. Super cool, baby blue kind of turquoisey paint. Definitely a nice 1950s piece if you're going for that retro look. That'll look sweet in somebody's kitchen. And last but not least, there were a couple watches. The first one is an American Waltham watch. It's a silver case, but it is not winding currently. So this will likely need a mainspring. I'll actually flip it open to show you where the mainspring is so you have an idea about what fails on these watches, what's really common. In the meantime though, this watch would probably date to the 1920s, 1930s around there. Nice silver case, needs a good polish. But it's there, the crystal's intact in decent shape. It's just not working, which is kind of a problem. Let's open it up and I'll show you the inside. I'm getting ready to open up this pocket watch to show you the inside, but I forgot that at the last house we cleared out, I found a couple Walkie Talkies. So in the meantime, I hid one behind our fridge and I've been going on to it going, fridge door, open, like every minute. I wonder if Melissa's found it yet. That's what's happening on the inside of the house right now. Oh, my wife married a child. All right, let me crack this watch open. Well, I got the inside of the watch open, and oddly, the balance staff looks like it's fine, which tells me it's probably the mainspring, which is right under there. So I'll see if I can get this out to one of my pocket watch repair folks that I know in town and see if they can get that fixed up again for me. But where is that little gold watch? I'm curious to know if it's actually gold or not. Let's go find out. Sometimes these little watches can be solid gold, although I'm not optimistic about this. So see the corrosion on the side there? If that was gold, it generally wouldn't be doing that. But let's crack it open and see what we're working with here. Anyway, interesting little watch. This is bigger than a cocktail watch, but this would have been a lady's watch. Let's see what's inside. The inside of these watches always fascinates me because you look at how much detail and precision and work went into it. The little micro screws, the levers, the balance staff, everything. It's just so precise and really beautiful. I guess maybe that's where my fascination with watches comes from. Just it's amazing technology that's in there. This is not a gold case. It is a gold filled case. Worth a shot though, because a lot of times when you see these little watches like this, they can be solid 18 karat gold, or if it's really old, a lot of times they're 9 karat. It's non-working. It was also, looks like AW & Co watch, which would be American Waltham, I believe. Case made in Canada. So non-functioning little antique watch, not worth a pile of beans, but actually a pile of beans probably worth something nowadays. Still kind of a cool thing, and I'll keep it around in case, sometimes I keep broken watches like this in case you need parts or in case you decide to get it fixed later on. Still cool. I think an interesting little assortment here that if sold correctly, I'll be able to get probably about $500 out of everything that's here. Honestly, I'm just pleased to make the trip, and it was super fun getting out and meeting Cindy as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's little unpacking video. I'm gonna get these guys sorted and off to auction. We get them all taken over. I do sell at Kastner Auctions, kauctions.ca. We're not doing a big sale right now, but generally every week I put at least a few items through there anyhow, so you're welcome to check it out. But I'm gonna get cleaned up, get this stuff out of the garage, and go out and look for more treasures. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see y'all soon. Tune in for more episodes if you haven't subscribed. Make sure to do that. And I'm gonna get myself back to work. Bye for now, everybody. Have a good day. Bye, guys.